This is Karen with NewClevelandRadio.net, and it is time for Heart Mojo with Melinda Smith. Welcome, Melinda.
Hey Karen, how you doing?
I'm doing great. It's been 2 weeks since we got together, and
Mm-hmm.
the last couple sessions have been a little tough ones. People are going through
Right.
crazy things like all of us. But I think today we have somebody on who's might even make us laugh a little bit.
As he goes through the crazy things
Well,
too.
of course, of course. So tell us who your guest is.
So we have had a comedian, local comedian, and national, because you've been everywhere, right, Mike? Mike
That is
Conley
correct.
on. He's been on the show last year. He was on the show for the Don't Forget to Laugh series that we did for the Alzheimer's Association. Not so sure we're going to be able to do that this year. I'm still holding out hope. There's still some time. But I wanted to have him on today to talk a little bit about getting through challenges and how comedy can help you do that. And I know he's had his own, as we all do. So welcome, Mike. Thank you for being
Thank you
on.
very much. Thanks for having me back. It's always good to see you ladies.
So
Well,
you're wearing
hopefully.
a Johnny Cash shirt, but you don't look
Yes,
like Johnny.
yes. It's fun. My music choices are all over the map because when I'm driving somewhere, like if I have a road gig, country music on the radio is great. But if
Mhm.
I'm short-term driving, not so much. And of course, I listen to the radio station there in Cleveland that I'm at now when I'm driving around here.
Absolutely.
So where are you at now?
I'm at Jenny 107.3. I'm on Friday mornings with Kathy Vogel.
Good. Excellent. And we'll just throw this in right now and then we'll get to talking. Are you somewhere this weekend? Because I think some of the comedy places have opened up.
As a matter of fact, I am. I will be back at technically my home club, not exactly the building where I started, but certainly the city that I started in. I'll be at the Funny Stop in Caldwell Falls, Ohio. I'll be there Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. One show Thursday, two on Friday, two on Saturday.
Awesome. And I know that they are practicing good, safe social distancing in their tables. And
Everything that I've heard has been very positive. Pete got out in front of it right away
mhm.
and got working on what he needed to do. And everything that I heard has been very positive about all the efforts that he's made.
I think it's one of the few places really has been up and running for a little bit, right? About a month.
My understanding is 4th Street opens tomorrow night, soft opening,
Right. And then week.
with a round of local performers going to be there. But my understanding is 4th Street. I have not heard about the flats yet.
Yeah, me either. So tell us what's been going on with you. I know one of the big things, and I work in this industry, is seniors, right? And your mom is at a nursing home, is that correct?
That is correct.
So
We
how
have
is,
We have not spent time with each other since March 16th.
wow. Have you
And I
seen her
would normally go-
outside from the
I would
window?
normally, no, that's the window thing, and that doesn't work for her.
Mm,
She can't hear, and for a while they wouldn't even allow the windows to be open. And even now that they can do talking through the windows, it's almost like teasing her because I'm close, but I'm not there.
right.
So hopefully the plan is next Monday, the 20th, according to the governor's latest round of orders, is that nursing homes will be allowing outside visiting.
Mhm.
And talking to mom tonight about 4:30 or so, she called me and they are talking about it, and the talk is very positive.
Mhm.
So that hopefully that'll happen next week.
That's
Like,
excellent.
and that's really important for, your mom and the other individuals like your mom who are in nursing homes. A lot of them don't understand completely what has been happening. And many of them are feeling
Exactly.
deserted right now.
Exactly. She's having an extremely difficult time. I mean, the good days are so at best. The bad days are horrific. She gets very angry at me because she feels that I should have found a way to get inside by now.
Sure, absolutely.
Sneak
Yeah,
inside.
yeah.
Well, I know that, before all of this happened, your mom was a big part of, what you would talk about on stage, and because you put humor in that difficult situation. So can you talk a little bit about that, and
Sure.
how you came about
just,
using that?
I have every intention to continue using that material, because it really happens. And that is just, if you have a senior in your life or spend any time around a senior that's going through the start of or ramped up dementia, which she has, that it can be with I don't mean this in any disrespect, but there can be entertaining moments in just some of the way she views things and she processes things. We've had some very entertaining conversations and moments together out in public, in her room. She has no filter. If she's thinking it, she's saying it, So it's just, and I fully intend to share those stories again this weekend, because I am not going to let COVID-19 take over my show. It's just not going to happen. My show is my show.
Well, and
our
there's humor in
experiences and
that.
our adventures, that's part of the show.
Yeah, there's definitely humor in that. I mean, that's something why I did the Don't Forget to Laugh series, because you can't forget to laugh through those difficult times. And dementia, Alzheimer's is a form of dementia. So, and I went through that with my grandma. There were now we laugh at every funny story, and I love your material for that.
Yeah, if she's thinking it, she's saying it. There's no, and I can't stop it. I mean, I can see it in her face what she's about to say, but I can't stop her enough time before I'm like, oh, sweet Jesus. I mean.
That's okay. That's okay. So you lend humor to that situation. So how has that helped you?
It has helped me cope with the fact that she's 87 and fading, and she is. And so I've learned to enjoy the moments and the crazy, which helps offset the argumentative times and everything else. So how I react when I start talking about it this weekend, not having been able to spend time with her, I don't know. I hope that there's no difference than any other show, but I don't know for sure what's going to happen.
Yeah.
I might get emotional. I might not be able to do it. I don't know.
Interestingly enough, Mike, people are going to understand, your reactions if they aren't as, let's say, as clean as they were previously, because we're all going through this. This is a first for all of us. And you will have people sitting in your audience who have seniors in their family.
Right. That's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping that I can reach them and make them find that humor still that they shared before they haven't been kind of pulled away from their loved ones.
Go ahead, Karen.
You've been working out a lot lately.
Well,
this on Facebook. Come on.
Well, I'm a little bit. I've been, because I have this time now that, I don't have that 4 or 5 hour window during the day that I get to spend with her. So I've been going crazy. So I have been trying to take a little bit better care of myself.
Well, I appreciate that, because you've been pushing me to take care of myself.
So this coming weekend, I am extremely nervous about. I'm as nervous now about going back on stage as I was going back on stage after my heart surgery 5 years ago.
And I remember that.
Because to be perfectly honest, ladies, I wasn't sure I was coming back to comedy.
Yeah.
For the longest time, I couldn't find the funny in anything. Radio and Kathy Vogel have helped me tremendously with that, because I got to write every week. There's a part of the show that I have to write for every week. So it keeps that creative fire, that at least the pilot light's lit, because I'm writing every week. So.
Well, that's a good thing. Well,
I'm anxious, but it's like full steam ahead. We're going. I'm pushing, promoting it hard, branding it hard, and we'll see what happens.
So, you spoke about your heart attack and coming back after that. That was a challenge for you as well. You just said that.
Extreme challenge.
So have you used your humor or your desire to be humorous through most of your adversities, would you say? I mean, how'd
Oh,
you
yeah.
start doing comedy? How did you even start doing comedy?
I started doing comedy. My very first show was January 24th, 1989. It was open mic night, the old club on State Road in Colga Falls. I had gone to a few open mic nights and watched, and I had, oh, what are we doing? Sorry. I don't want that. Okay. I had watched some open mics, and I was being egged on by friends. Mike, you can do that. You're that funny. You can do that. So I signed up, and the first few went great. And I started hanging out with guys with more experience than me and picking up some pointers, and just started hanging out at the club. Became a club rat and hang out there whenever I could.
So did you use the comedy though to get through the difficult times?
Yeah, actually, it was both. I've used the comedy to get through difficult times, and I've used the difficult times as material for comedy. I mean, it's a two-way street, really. There have been times when I need to get away from everything that I'm really thankful that I've had a show, because I just needed a break, and the energy off the audience helped recharge me. And there were things that have happened, the heart attack and the surgery and everything, that it was just material. It just wrote itself.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's, yeah, I've heard that piece, and anybody who wants to come out and hear it this weekend should, because it's quite funny. It's one of my favorite. That and some of your nursing home stories, those are my two favorite things, like that story and that. And it sounds bad because those are both kind of sad ideas, things that happen, but you turn those into, they're real, and you turn them into a really funny story that people can resonate with and use to get through their own stuff.
I'm not bitter. I'm not bitter about either one of those. I've made peace with what's going on with Mom and I right now in the separation. I was very angry for a long time, but I've made peace with what is, and her facility has been incredibly phenomenal with how they've dealt with the family. There's always constant communication. They try to do FaceTime, which is hilarious because Mom doesn't know quite where to hold it. So her forehead looks great, which is pretty much the only thing that I've seen the last 3 times I've talked to her at FaceTime. But
well, it's funny that you should talk about FaceTime, Mike, because before my mother got ill, we thought that she really had everything in order. And my brother used to FaceTime her. And one Sunday he FaceTimed her. He had his grandkids at his house. And my mother, clicked on FaceTime. The problem was she had just walked out of the shower.
Oh boy.
She was totally in the buff. And my niece and my nephew just like, oh my God. What is that?
Yeah, that's a lot to throw out there to the kids. Yeah. No, they hand it to her and they get it set up. They call me, everything's in place. They just hand it to her. And then within 30 seconds of talking to her, all I'm seeing is her forehead.
I love it.
But she can see me, and that's all that matters.
Right.
So
it's right. Absolutely.
So really, because they've been so on top of it and working with you and everything, did you feel a little bit better about her being there than you being with her at home?
Oh, there's no way she could have stayed. There's no way she could stay at home with me. There's no, that couldn't happen. She's physically and now mentally not able to do that with my schedule and everything else. And no, she's where she needs to be. And I think she's in one of the best facilities that I've been around. And like I said, they're doing a great job with communicating and everything else. So it doesn't make it any easier because I don't have the control that your typical Leo wants,
That's right. I'm a Leo.
I'm an August baby, so I'm a Leo, and I don't have the control that I want, but I'm learning to have to accept that.
No, I think this is why you and I get along, because I'm a Leo too, say July 25th. So
I'm August 3rd.
And your buddy Mike Gersh is a Leo too.
Yeah, his birthday is
24th, July 24th, the day before mine.
The 24th, yeah.
Yeah, right before mine.
He's the big 5-0.
Yeah, well, thank God I'm not, mine isn't a big number like that this year. Well, I would like to have 50 again. Let's just say that, but
All I know is, I'm happy to keep adding on after 5 years ago, so I'm not
right.
complaining. Yeah, so
Well, you and I went through things at the same time. I was in
yeah,
cancer treatment. You had the heart problem. So we can both relate to being happy to celebrate one more year, one more revolution around
yeah. And
the
that's
world.
and in regards to what's going on now, COVID, there will be. I had one of the first tests for the COVID-19 test before it was even called that. I happened to have a doctor's appointment, and the doctor said to me, "Hey, we're going to test you for that virus while you're here." And that's what he said, that virus. I mean, it wasn't, they didn't even really. So I have that. I always call it that I got tested before it was cool to get tested.
Oh,
And so I had the experience with the giant,
Swab.
uh, yeah. So that I've written a little something about that. That will be it as far as what's been going on material in my show.
Mhm.
People are coming out. They're tired of hearing about it. They're tired of
Right.
hearing about it. They're tired of living it. They're going there for an hour and a half. They're going to be with Carter and I and Tim Folger. The three of us are going to take them away from that reality for an hour and a half.
Hmm.
They don't want to hear about it. They don't want to hear about quarantine. They don't want to hear about masks. They don't want to hear about any of that. At least they're not going to hear it from me.
Well,
Now,
they're still going to see a little bit of it coming in, but if you can take them out of that
right.
with your
I mean,
comedy.
when they come in, they're going to have masks, and it's going to be there. And originally, Pete had talked about putting up a plexiglass shield in front of the stage,
Mm.
and everybody was freaking out. And I tried to tell my comedic brethrens and sisterns, is that a word? That
It is
the
now.
shield is only a factor if we as the comics make it a factor. If you talk right through it, if you ignore it, then they won't think it's there.
Right.
But Pete elected not to use it anyway.
I think he has put a line on the stage. You don't cross that line because you'll be too close to the audience and them too
Yeah.
close to you.
And I may make fun of that. I may step on it and act like I'm being electrocuted or something
That's
stupid.
okay.
Just something fun, But it's all going to be lighthearted. My opinion of masks, my opinion of what's going on, how it's being handled, that's nobody's business. And that's not what they came here. They
Right.
came entertained. Leave your personal thoughts and your personal platforms at the door. That's how I've felt since the first day I started doing comedy.
Hmm. So do you think at this juncture, well, you were just talking about people don't want to hear about it. How did your comedy friends react through this? Have you talked to them?
I
Have you?
honestly haven't talked to too many of them. I
No?
haven't. I have not talked to too many of them because we all fell back on our previous last job, or some were still, some of us still had the day side thing going on, at least part time. We had to fall back into that, so we became like regular working stiffs again because there wasn't any comedy to do.
Right.
So we've just been busy living almost quote unquote regular lives. So we really just haven't. And when we do chat, it's just like nothing ever happened. Bill Bendon and I were just talking through text messaging. We're doing a show together next month. Apparently, he set it up. So, and it's just the conversation is just goofy with him every time.
Right.
But it's just been so wrapped up, just trying to get through. And those guys, God love them, Jeff and Charlie, for example, they got families.
Right.
They've got things they got to take care of. They got to worry about doing that. So we haven't had a lot of time to converse.
All right. And for you, if you're just doing comedy, you can't get on and do a Zoom concert. Charlie's been doing music because he does that on the side, right?
I've never been a fan of doing a Zoom concert comedy show. I've been asked about a dozen times, and it's just not my thing. It's not. You got to have that audience interaction. Because to me, it's just like a meeting that I have every morning with the job that I had to go back to get by. I have meetings every morning at 8:00, and to me, that's what a Zoom comedy show would be. Musicians, it is a little bit easier for them because you don't necessarily have to watch them as much as you're listening to what they're doing.
Right. Right. Yeah, I know but he's been, doing what he can do, right, Karen? I
Yeah.
mean, you've had a few of his things out.
Well, and I think the musicians have been doing more Zoom concerts than
Hmm.
like you said, comedians, because I've talked to a number of comedians like yourself, Mike, and we were hoping maybe to put something together, a virtual comedy show together. And their comment was the same thing, that they sort of depend on the audience's reaction. And if you're not getting that, you don't know if you're on point or not.
Right
And
now, like for example, the Four Horsemen, myself, Charlie, Bill, Jeff, we could sit up on stage together and play off each other comments like a Zoom meeting, but without that audience in front of to play off that, it's not the same thing.
Right.
exactly.
I know that Michael Gersh did do a Zoom comedy event, and I spoke to him afterwards, and he said it was definitely the hardest thing he's ever done. One of the
Sure.
hardest things he's ever done. And there were people that laughed. I happened to be on the Zoom call as well, and they did laugh, but I could get that sense that you don't know how you're doing. Not really. Because in an audience with the room, you feel it. And I've been to enough comedy shows with Tim and you and Mike and your horsemen, all of them. And I can tell the difference. I can definitely tell the difference. So I see how it would be difficult. But I did, I do think for whatever it gave a few of those people, he did a good deed, even if it was hard for him.
So, I mean, if someone were to contact me, and it was something that I was already tied into, that they had a law enforcement event or
Right.
something,
You do a lot of that.
something that I was tied into, and wanted me just to speak to virtually speak to a meeting they were having, that would be a little different. I could try to make that, try to find some humor in that, but
Right.
otherwise it's just, and when we as comedians say that, it's not an ego thing. It's
Right.
just from an entertainment standpoint, we don't feel we are as entertaining without the interaction of the audience.
Yeah, no, definitely. I can see that. I can see that. So as we move forward, how are you feeling moving forward, going out and doing comedy with the COVID experience that's going on? Are you comfortable in moving forward?
Ask me that on Sunday morning.
Or Friday when I'm there at the show, or Thursday or Friday, because I'll be there.
I am, if I wasn't comfortable giving it a shot, I would have told Pete no from the beginning.
Hmm.
For me, it is the perfect situation being able to work there first time back. Because like I said, for a while, I wasn't sure I was coming back. And honestly, this may be all that I do. I may decide, no, this isn't, I'm not comfortable. This isn't working. And I
Yeah.
step away. I don't know. I don't
Yeah.
anticipate that. The energy is back. The fire to do it is back. And then we'll just see how it goes. And there seems to be a lot of interest this week. And we'll play it by ear.
I think comedy is it's so important. They found that the most rented movies were comedy, right? That's what
Absolutely.
people were going after, classics and comedy. And most classics, unless they're romantic classics, are comedy. So I think it's such a needed piece. And I really commend you for going back and doing it, because I know that there's a lot going on and no one's really sure. And so to go
We're
back
not sure. And now it's spiking back up. And after last weekend when I was watching all that stuff, I was waiting for things to shut back down. But I can't, and that still may happen. We don't know. It may all shut down before the weekend.
Right.
But we have to plan that it's going to be open, because it is now, and we have to plan that way, and we have to be ready.
Right.
And
No, absolutely.
I think we've got those pieces in place that we're going to give it a shot, and hopefully some folks will come out. There seems to be a lot of interest in folks coming out, and I think it's because they already know that regardless of my stance on things, that stays at the door. This is my show. Some of them have seen it before, and I don't know why the hell they keep coming back, because they know it doesn't change a whole lot.
Because I laugh every time. That's why. Every time.
They love what I do, so that's why they come back. So you give them what they want.
Mhm.
And so that's why they'll never hear from me anything political. Anything religious is simply going to be me making fun of myself growing up as an Irish Catholic kid. That's as close to anything religious that I'm going to have to say. So my views on what's going on are my views, and they never make it even in the building.
You know, Mike, I think if people want to get out and be part of society again, as long as we come out and we follow the rules, we're going to be able to have you come back on stage. We'll be able to see a lot of things, you know, reopen that haven't opened yet. I know I was talking to the comedy club in Cleveland, you know, and they're making big adjustments just like Pete did. And again, it's all about people being safe in that environment. And as long as Pete is doing that, which I've heard he is, you know, it should be
He's
a
done an
great
excellent
place.
job.
It should
I
be.
agree. I definitely agree. So before we end up closing up shop today, give me some advice on for me or for anyone and getting through this process. What have you used to get yourself through being stuck in the house from March?
Well, for me, I learned the number one thing I learned was things that weren't getting done around the house were not due to lack of time, because I didn't get to them with all the time I had anyway. I simply didn't want to do them.
Right.
But in all honesty, and this might sound weird for the people that know me, but prayer has been a huge part of getting this through. Literally keeping the faith, and trying to find positive points, stay in contact with your inner circle, even if it's through text messaging or whatever. Stay in contact with those people. I don't believe in the word normal. I never believed in the old normal, so I sure as hell don't believe in the new normal. I prefer the word usual, and this might be the new usual that we're living with, and we just have to understand that. And
I think
again,
you did some pretty funny posts as well.
and those were actually very therapeutic for me. They were therapeutic for me to do. So a lot of it was staged. A lot of it, like the one I did this afternoon, was staged. Because I was repotting some flowers. And so I put the 12-pack of beer down next to my potting stuff, and this is my project. So everybody thought I was planning beer.
Well, but those are the little things that you do to get through this.
You know, other people, that's what other people have done that while they've been, cooped up, is they've done some outside projects and stuff like that. And that really isn't my forte. I was really kind of out of my wheelhouse doing this gardening stuff. So.
Well, or you weren't playing with toys. I mean, did you see Tim Folger's piece with the Evel Knievel? Boy, he made that into a long series when he was stuck at home.
Yeah, that got more episodes than it should have, probably. But I don't understand, I'll be honest, what I don't understand is all the guys that grew beards. We were in quarantine. We weren't being held hostage. You have your razor. Everything is you still have what are you doing? Because I actually had a comic from Philly, Corey Alexander goes, "Where's your quarantine beard?" I go, "What the hell are you talking about?" He said, "I'm not being held hostage. I'm in my house. The shaving stuff is right there."
I think it was just the idea they didn't have to do it.
I think it was because they didn't have to. Believe me, I will tell you the truth. I am currently wearing pants, but a lot of other meetings I attend to like this, I don't have pants on. And I'm telling you, if you're working at home and you wash more than 2 pairs of underwear a week, you're doing things wrong at home.
Well, I hate to admit that I actually have seen you in your underwear.
Oh.
On stage.
Oh, on stage. Okay.
It's one of his things that not everybody gets to see. It depends on what you're at, what event you're at, right?
Mm-hmm. Sure does.
It was very funny though. So, but I won't comment anymore on that,
It's on the agenda for this weekend, at least one of the 2 nights. I don't know which one yet.
So it's a surprise.
Maybe.
It's a surprise. So people have to come to more than one of these just to see if they can catch
they might have to. They might have to.
They should, because each
You're-
show is always slightly different. You do cover
yeah.
similar material, but it's always different, again, on the audience. So,
Right.
So you're performing, you said Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, right?
Yes.
And are there-
Thursday, 8 o'clock, Friday and Saturday are 7:30 and 9:30. Thursday, I don't plan on doing a full headliner set, which is 45 to 50 minutes to an hour, because Pete's having a feature contest, I think, and I want to give the night to them. If Pete wants me to go up and close it when those guys are done, I'll go up and do 15, 20, 25. But as far as I'm concerned, this is their night to shine in this feature contest. I want them to have whatever time they need to have.
Very nice.
excellent. Well, I'm looking forward to the weekend.
I'm looking forward to seeing you.
And not on Zoom, right?
Yeah, and looking forward to seeing people in person.
Yeah, no, it's a big difference. Zoom is fine and it's good to see somebody, but it just doesn't replace being in the same room.
No, it
Absolutely.
doesn't.
It really doesn't. Well, I appreciate you coming on the
It was
show
my
today.
pleasure. My pleasure again.
And as always, I admire the fact that you've taken these adversities and used your comedy to get through it, because that's what I did coming to see you all when I was going through my cancer treatment. So you guys are all near and dear to my heart, because
Well,
you helped me make it through that.
we're all here to help each other. I think it's just one big therapy group every show.
That's
Just
true.
it's-
That's true.
There's no one actually facilitating the therapy group. It's just one giant therapy group.
Yeah, well, that's true. It is. So, Karen, anything else to add before we close?
Do us a favor, Mike, when you get to finally see your mother next week, okay?
Yes.
Give her hugs and kisses from all of us, because she makes me smile every time you talk about her.
She does.
I miss my mom terribly, but some of the things that you say that your mother says and does reminds me of my mother's last couple months. And I don't ever want to forget those moments, because they were precious.
As we draw closer, her overall mood is a little bit more upbeat. For a while, they're very despondent, very down, but she seems the last couple of days a little bit more upbeat. So I absolutely will. Hugs and kisses all around from you guys as soon as we get a chance to spend time together.
And good luck this weekend.
Yep.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
All right. Thanks. We'll see you soon.
All righty.
Take care.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
Bye-bye.